view. All right, so mask eyes and brows. I think it's a really good trick so that we've got some expression, because when we've covered our faces, all we've got is our eyes, and if we've got some visual expression going on, that's a really good thing to do. So even out of this lockdown universe that we've had in the last 8-9 months, whatever it is, smoky eyes and brows are a real feature in makeup. So I want to go through those tricks, whether it's wearing a mask or not. It's the same technique, but it is about focusing on the eyes. So I've already got my foundation on, and I've set that with the powder, and I've got some blush on, and I've done, if you can tell, I've done this eye already. Here's what I prepared earlier, and here's nothing. But I've got blush, and I've got lipstick on, I've got the Dusty Rose on, and so we're ready to go with this one. I'm just going to replicate what is all the techniques there with this smoky eye technique, and I'm going to be using, I know it's back the front, but it's the matte palette. All right, so fabulous colors in there, and because it's matte, it's really good for everyone to use. So I'll go through that and we'll discover that. All right, so without any further ado, first thing to do is, I have had foundation on there, and I've pressed it in with a bit of the Beauty Blender. And now I'm going to use concealer, because concealer on the eye helps build up the layers for the foundation and the eyeshadow to adhere to, and you get a more brilliant color. So with this concealer, a bit of a dab on. Then with the pointy end of the Beauty Blender, I'm just going to blend that in. You want to go right into the corner so that you've got the inner corner nice and bright and light, and then right up to the brow bone, because we want to keep that up there nice and light as well. The Beauty Blender just smooths the creamy concealer into the skin, gives it a beautiful base on which to smooth out, and it minimizes all those little fine lines and wrinkles as well. So that's the concealer that I've used, the liquid one. Then, here we go, without any further ado, I'm using the brush that is the eyeshadow brush. Because it's got a nice full flat head, what I'm going to do is use color number 1, and I'm going to get the color on the flat end of the brush, and I'm virtually setting this. Instead of using mineral powder, you can, but I'm using this as the color now to go over the whole lid, keeping it nice and light in the corner. So this is going to help set the concealer into the skin so it doesn't move, and the eyeshadow won't crease and move throughout the day. So setting the base of your foundation, similar techniques to your eyes. So we've got the whole eye socket nice and light and bright. Okay, so I'm setting that in now with the powder, using that bigger brush, just with the color number 1. Okay, now I'm using the same brush, and I'm going to go down to color number 6. It's a beautiful, almost a rosy brown color. So I'm going to fill my brush, the top of my brush, with that, and I'm going to come from the outer corner along the lash line. And then I'm not quite into the corner, but almost. All right, so I'm doing this lovely windscreen wiper action, and then I'm going to layer up a bit more and come up a bit higher into the crease of the eye where the eye socket is. So I'm going to bring out the eye socket. So by creating shadow and darkness in your eye socket, it helps the whites of your eyes come forward. Not quite. All right, so I'm doing this lovely windscreen wiper. Okay. So into the eye socket and the crease, I'm coming down a little bit, not right into the corner, but a little bit further over the windscreen wiper. So I'm blending and pressing all that color into the eyelid, keeping the color up. I'll do a little bit more because I want most of the eyelid covered with that lovely number 6. It's a beautiful creamy, pinky, browny, burnt sort of color. So that's your transition color. So the light transition to that, and then the darker colors also transition into that midway color point there. All right. Now I'm going to use color number 5, which is the deepest color. I'm going to load the brush flat. So I don't want a full head of color. I'm just going to load it on a diagonal like that and get a bit more on the flat side, tap it off a bit. And then from the outer corner, I'm going to build up that color, or you can change your brush and get that way so that you've got the angle. All your color on your eyeshadow needs to be up. And the way to do that is measuring from the corner of your nose, the corner of your eye, and up to your eyebrow. So you don't want any color coming down here, because if you've got eyeshadow down here, when you move that away, your eyes will be hanging down. Everything about makeup is to give yourself a facelift. So we don't have to have injections or fillers or any of that stuff. You create it and you paint it on. So keeping your eyeshadow in that upward area helps keep that illusion that you've got that facelift happening. So it's all about the eyes. We're working that dark brown color, the number 5, into more of the center of the eye. Again, with that windscreen wiper, I'm taking more of that dark color and I'm blending it through the eye. So we've got that beautiful, deep, rich, dark, smoky eye that we want. Okay, blending that through. And so I've kept more of the inner corner still light, and I've certainly still got light underneath my brow. So building up those colors. Now I'm going to use, on the other end of the eyeshadow brush is the smudge brush, this little pointy dome. Can you see how it's got the dome? That means I'm going to use the point and get color right up underneath my lash line at the bottom. Because if you've got a heavy, dark, smoky eye, you absolutely need to balance it out with depth underneath the eye as well. All right, so you can see with the eyeshadow there and nothing there, my face sort of falls away while I'm trying to highlight my eyes, which then highlight how I've cut in my cheeks, creating light. So it's all about balancing light and shade. So if you don't have anything on the bottom lash line, the bottom of your face is disappearing away. So let's make it stand out. So using that little smudge brush, I'm going to start first of all with number 6, which was my blending, contouring, transition color. So from the outside in, I'm working as close as I can up into the eyelashes, underneath on that skin, and building up that beautiful, warm, dusty, browny pink right through. And then I'm also going to come in with number 5, which was the darker outer corner. Just working on the tip, and I'm only going to bring that color about halfway. I'm not bringing it right through. So just more of the darkness. So again, we've got more of the fading. So on the top, it's the fade out to the dark, light, medium, and dark, if you want to talk about that. So a bit more of the dark on the outside, blending that through that beautiful little soft smudging brush. Okay, what you can also do if you want a tighter line, you can use the angled brush, and it's got a really fine end. You might like to also use that end and come up right into there nice and close, and then even turning the brush on the top of your lid, and you can bring that dark color and build up more of the depth of that dark, beautiful brown, building up layers there. Okay, so that's the color. I'm going to use my blending brush. Where is it? Oh, here we go. The soft, beautiful blending brush. And I'm going to get a bit of what is number 2. That's a bit warmer. It's got a bit more warmth in it. And I'm going to bring that into the corner, and really on the tear duct, I'm going to just twizzle that in a bit. So I'm pressing it into the inner corner, not bringing it up onto the lid. I want to keep that nice and warm, but I'm certainly going to bring the inner corner and bring light to the inner corner so it makes the whites of the eyes brighter. And with the little bit that's on my brush, I'm just going to come in under the brow and just give a little bit more of the lift to underneath the brow. So everything is light and shade. Dark recedes, light brings forward. So my sockets are dark, receding, the brows are bringing forward, the whites of the eyes bringing forward. So therefore you've got really featured eyes. All right, so that's with all the colors. So now I'm going to use the Faberuni eyeliner. So if you've been scared of using a liquid eyeliner, I understand you're scared, but it's only practice. So practice is always the thing. Lift your arm up to get the beautiful little point down into the corner. Now, because I'm not 21 anymore, what I want to do is keep my eyes open. The more that I draw any lines right down into the corner, I'm actually doing myself a disservice. So I'm actually making myself look older, bringing my eyes down. So I want a little bit of my eyes open. So just before the little tear duct at the top there, I'm just going to stop from there rather than right down in. You young girls that are 16 and 21, go for it. Eyeliner, terrific, fantastic. But that's just a little technique if you've had a few more birthdays after your 21st birthday. So here goes the liner. So get the point. So if you can see, my elbow is up. I can't do eyeliner with my elbow stuck down here. So I've got to lift it up so that I'm angling that point down into the inner corner and as close as I can to the lash line. Don't think you've got to do one continuous stroke, but what you can do is lie that eyeliner flat against your skin. So it's actually touching the skin through the whole of that little felt tip, bringing it out to the outer corner. And yes, you can layer a bit more so you've got more volume on the outer corner. Now, another tip, I know a lot of people put on their eyeliner and they do this. If you're 21, okay, but if you're 21 and you do that for a lifetime, pulling your eyes to get your eyeliner on, by the time you've had a few more birthdays like me, you're going to have overstretched that skin so much you will have sagging skin. So if I can offer you all any advice from being a makeup artist, professional makeup artist myself, and having been a professional person that's worn makeup for my career. If you don't know, I was in theatre, I was in television, modelling, music, singing, dancing. I know makeup, I've had makeup on. So I know that if I had been pulling my skin for a lifetime in my career, I don't think I'd have what I've got now. So if I can help you with that, please. I sort of get if it's a little bit, try and go up, but try not to go out sideways. So let's, if you want to, do a little bit of uplift, and I'm going to get that outer corner. And again, because I'm not 21, I am not going to do the fabulous 1960s cat wings unless I'm going to a fancy dress. But you younger girls, go for it, do your wings, love it. But just make sure that you keep the angle of that flick up towards your eyebrow. If it's coming out to the side, it's going to droop your eye. So I'm going to do, there's my black eyeliner. That's what I prepared earlier. Okay. So don't be scared. It's absolutely brilliant. It's so fine and lovely. Then underneath my eye, I'm using the Defining Waterproof Eye Pencil. If you can see, it's the Midnight Blue. Because of my bluey-greeny eyes, I'm quite happy to have a bit more of the blue to bring out the colour of my eyes. Black's fantastic, of course, but again, because I've had a few more birthdays past my 21, the blue gives the definition, but it also brings the colour and is not harsh. The blackness under here for old chicks, bit harsh. So I'm using the blue. So I'm just going over the shadow and creating a bit more of the depth of colour. Now again, I'm not going right into the tear duct, I'm stopping where the lashes are. Can you see that? It's just before the corner. So I'm blending all those eyeshadows together, bringing in more definition to the eye with the eyeliner, so it's a stronger look. Okay, and just getting it into that back corner. So there you go, that's the eye there. The other fabulous thing we're going to do, I suppose I could do, hang on, before I do my eyebrows, I'm going to do mascara. So using the Professional 4-in-1, best mascara, starting on the outer corner, getting right underneath the lashes. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I've actually got my chin up and I've got my head back, because what I want to do is get my wand underneath my lashes. So instead of trying to figure it out and find it here, guess where the mascara is going to go when I've got my chin down? It's going to go all on my lashes. So chin up, and maybe again get your elbow up so that you've got the ability to get underneath those lashes. You want to pull them out and backwards. And this wand is so special because you can get right into the inner corners and lift those lashes up. All right, a bit of a zigzag to get some product on there. Okay. More on the outer edges is fantastic. Outer to the middle. If you can get more product on the outer edges and lifting that up, you're again opening your eye. So a bit of mascara on the bottom. All right, you all know mascara there. But what I also like to do, instead of gluing on false eyelashes, the trick to opening your eye is using only actually half an eyelash section. So from the inner corner to the middle corner to the outer is really what you want. So I'm going to go on the top, and I'm only going to paint on the top on the outer half, and then I'm coming back and opening that up. The more that you've got the darkness on the outside coming into the center. Did I just smudge? Yeah, there's always going to be a smudge, isn't there, when you do a live? Okay, so mascara, opening up the eyes. Here we go. The brow. Fabulous, fabulous pencil. So very, very fine. The trick with this pencil is to not let the crayon on the inside come up too far. If you have too much exposed, you're going to snap that off. It's very, very delicate. So just have the tiniest little nib of that crayon there. Now, working from the inner corner where the lashes are, the lashes actually grow vertically. So you want your strokes to represent your hair so it looks real. And the best place to measure where you start that is to bring your pencil from the corner of your nose, right, straight up. So I can see that's where I start to draw my lines. Anything further past that, if I'm starting to draw hair there, what am I doing? I'm bringing my features down and I'm sagging my eyes down. I'm sure you will probably seen people with these massive eyebrows. If you have a look, they're forming their eyes to come down. So nobody's taught them that you need to go from the corner of the nose up to there, and that's when you start to do your first vertical lines. All right, so vertical lines going up. And you want to have a bit of depth in the base. So you're going to bring that out a little bit. Now I'm turning my pencil a bit more on the side now, and I'm coming up to the brow. You can see there should be a natural peak on the brow. If you haven't got that natural peak, this is where you can use your techniques to find it. So from the corner to the middle and to the inner corner. So at those 3 points, 1, 2, and 3, that's where your brow is going to be framed. So I want to lift that up. Again, if you've got your eyebrows painted and they give you that uplift, you're opening your eyes and you're actually giving your whole face that facelift, and of course framing your eyes. So you can see how the strokes are building up color. Mine is starting to fade away here. So with the pencil, you should be able to see that I can bring back that depth of color a little bit more in here. Then once I've got to the peak, I'm then going to turn my pencil down and I'm going to work the color at the top of the hairline. If I keep more distance and light between my eye socket darkness and the lightness of my brow, again, I'm opening up my eyes. So I don't want to color in the hair. Even though there's hair there, I'm going to leave the color of my brow pencil more at the top of the hair. And the trick is, remember, from the corner of the nose, the corner of the eye, can you actually see I've got another couple of little millimeters to go to color them in, to truly give my eye socket its true reference. Can you see the difference there? Just that little bit of millage there, a little bit more And don't be afraid to go back and then keep painting them in. That's absolutely fine. Then on the other end of the brush, the crayon, you've got the wand. So combing their hair upwards. Now, because you've put the crayon onto your brows, it's a beautiful creamy texture. So now what you're doing is you're using the wand to grab hold of the hair into that beautiful cream texture, and those brows are going to stay in place, and you're going to direct them to be held in one area. And you're smoothing out any pencil lines that still might remain. So that smooths it out and frames the eye. All right, eyeballs done. I want to give you a little bit of a trick as well. When you've finished your eye socket and you're doing your blush, of course, here's what I prepared before. This is the Peony blush, right on the base of the big powder brush. I'm just going to get a little bit on the tip of my blush. Yep. And I'm actually going to put it just on the brow bone, because what this does, it marries in the tone of what's existing here. Okay, so the tone of what is your blush, by bringing that slight little delicate over brush, is warming up the whole of the eye sockets, finishing off what I truly believe is that finish that blends, that hint of colour that comes through the whole face. And here we go, blush, blush, blush. All right. So another little trick in the eye area. If you've got a few extra lines here, you don't want to be filling that with a lot of concealer and powder, etc. So I've done concealer and powder on my inner corner and set all that, but there's hardly any buildup of product there because I don't want any product to show the fine lines. I also want to keep my orbital bone area completely free of any color. So be careful that your blush doesn't go into that orbital area. And if you can see where the light is catching, I don't have any highlight or anything else, just beautiful foundation and my powder. So it's bringing light already there, and I've created that shadow there. So a little trick, some eye cream. If you've got a little bit of dryness there, or you want some luminous quality, you can use a little bit of eye cream. Where are we? Tiny, tiny, tiny little drop. Yeah, tiny little bit. And you can just pat that. Now, everyone's going to say, oh, you don't put eye cream over the top of your foundation. Little trick forever. It just gives that skin that beautiful, fresh, radiant glow. And if you do have some creases, wrinkles there, that is going to reflect light. Light that reflects on the skin pushes away the darkness. So I think that's a really clever little tip. So some of the tips of the trade, especially when you are mask face. All right. Okay, so there's your eyes. Just with the lips, what is about smoky eyes when you've got the depth of color? The trend is that you have more of a nude mouth and you have the bold eyes. If you have a bold mouth, like a bright red, the contrast happens, so you have more of a nudie eye. So here we've done this deep, warm, bold eye, and so I've gone more with the nudie mouth. So there you go. There you have it. Smoky eyes and a brow. Hope you've all learned something.